I want to go ahead and get started. My name is Amanda Messer, and I'm with the UES team. And I have worked with multiple ladies tonight that have helped me out. And then one very special lady tonight is going to help us kind of MC and kind of get through. Just ready to deep dive into sponsorship. You know, a lot of people talk about what is your, their favorite thing when it comes to relay. And a lot of people, of course, it's the survivors, it's the teams, it's Luminaria. But, I really like sponsorship. I have always liked working with local businesses and companies, individuals, because, for them, it is just kind of, it's just kind of being able for them to give back, whether they can be there or not, and just being able to get that money to help those teams succeed, to help the event, grow and prosper. So I'm excited to share some of the super fun and just unique ideas that all across the country, teams, individuals, volunteers, and events do. So we're just excited to kind of share some new things with these calls in our Let's Talk series.
I'm Heidi Varner. I'm one of your co-leads for our UES leadership team. I'm a volunteer like the rest of you. So I have no more knowledge than any of you do. So don't think I have any magic wand. I am made of money, however. So come and see me if you need a sponsorship. Just remember, not everybody shows that they're made of money. So this should be a good call. I'm excited. We're going to go over the types of sponsorship, how to set your levels, benefits, making the ask, which is important, the follow-up and stewardship, and then we'll have time at the end for questioning. So I hope everybody has their thinking caps on and are ready to learn, and make sure you're asking questions so we can get those concerns you may have answered. So are we ready to get started? Is everybody in?
I think so.
All right, Gina, we're going to throw it to you.
Awesome. Thank you, Heidi. Thank you, Amanda. Happy to be here. I am Gina, a staff partner on the UES team. I want to talk about types of sponsorship because we do have 4 main types of sponsorship. You can see them here on the screen. We've got your monetary sponsorship, and that is, of course, your cash and check donations that a company makes directly to the American Cancer Society to help out our events. We also have in-kind sponsorships, which is an item or service donation which is made to your event. It is considered, of course, a contribution, but because it's an item or a service, we're not adding that, into the event's total. It's an item that is given to us to use. Wanted to just remind everyone, and this is a best practice, however, you do need to determine what is best for your event. Recognition for the donation when it comes to giving them sponsor benefits are technically supposed to be given at 50% of the fair market value of that donated goods or service. So let's say that my catering company provides the food for the survivor reception. And if I donate $5,000 worth of food for the reception, I'm supposed to be getting the benefits of the $2,500 sponsorship. It's just because, with goods and services, what is costing the company might not be what they're actually, charging or things like that. So, but you have to, find out, if you have a local business that is, giving you $400 worth of something, to give them the, the benefits of $250 or $500. If it's a, small business, you still have to determine, what works best for your event. Also, if you're receiving an in-kind sponsorship of goods or services, you definitely want to talk to your staff partner to make sure you have the in-kind donation form that can be given to that business for tax purposes. We also have underwriting, which is when a company or a person directly pays the vendor for that item or service. So they're not giving the funds directly to ACS, they're giving the funds to that vendor that's providing the service. We don't do this a whole lot, and it's not actually, we don't actually encourage it a whole lot because then we can't really receipt them, because they're not giving that gift to the American Cancer Society. However, there are some businesses, maybe they have given their allotment out of, charitable contributions, and they still want to help out your events, they might ask if they can underwrite an item. So, you definitely have to talk about what, benefits that company. And a lot of times the company will let you know, they'll ask to do that. It's not something sometimes we normally, make the ask for. And then, of course, we have media sponsorships. And that's when we are, getting some promotion or media buys. Might be an ad in the newspaper, might be an ad on TV. And that's something that we can do, for trade, for that print media or that radio or TV media, give them the benefits of sponsorship. And is also something, too, that you might want to talk to the relays that are around you or in your region, because sometimes when it comes to media sponsorship, it's great to do, for a market buy. It gives a little bit more when you're, promoting something that is, citywide or, region wide as well. So those are the types of sponsorship: monetary, in-kind, underwriting, and media. Now we're going to go to the next slide and talk about some of the things that are a no-go when it comes to sponsors. So these are the no-go places. And I think that number 1 and number 3 should be self-explanatory. We're not accepting funds from tobacco companies or businesses, and we're not accepting funds from tanning salons, because we of course know tobacco is linked to cancer and tanning salons are linked to cancer. So those are a no-go. Number 2 is a no-go. However, it is definitely a no-go, but it's one of those things where a lot of the businesses that are now doing some of the medical marijuana and different things, they're approaching us, because they want to get involved and they want to sponsor us. So a lot of times we're not going out to solicit them, they're coming to us. But because of different state regulations, different things, and because it is still a very controversial topic with the American Cancer Society, it is a no-go for us. However, if you are approached by a medical dispensary or a company that does that, please definitely talk to your staff partner, because we have wording and a sample that you can use in your response back to that company. So definitely talk to your staff partner so that we can just help you, craft that message to them. And then also number 4 is grants. And we say proceed with caution with that, because, and sometimes it can be a little confusing, because some of the businesses that we ask for sponsorship do ask us to submit formal paperwork to them online. And it could look like a grant proposal, or that company might actually call it a grant, but it is not necessarily like a federally funded grant, or it can be a little bit misleading. But sometimes grants have a lot of stipulations about how those funds can be used. There's a lot of restrictions, and there's also a lot of follow-up that needs to be done as well. So definitely talk to your staff partner if you're soliciting a business and they want you to put in a grant. Sometimes it is a total it is a go, because that's just the way that company asks the sponsorship request to be put into them. But sometimes it could be a full all-out grant with a lot of stipulations and restrictions. So definitely talk to your staff partner about that. And like I said in that last sentence there, if you're unsure, you need clarification, please reach out to your staff partner. Also, you can always reach out to the leads on the UES volunteer team too. So I think, Heidi, am I turning it back over to you?
Yes, great job, Gina.
Awesome. Sure, thank you.
And she cannot say it enough, and nor can I, that your staff partner is there to help you. So reach out before you ask somebody else out on Facebook, because every event does things differently. Reach out to your staff partner. They're there to help you and assist you. So thank you. Jane and Andrea, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes, I'm Jane Roberts. I'm a staff person, and Andrea is our event chairperson for Allegheny County, and she used to be a staff person also. So if we can go to the next slide, there you go. Guidelines, we have an ACS template, a guideline that you can use, and that's what it should be used as, is a guideline. We want you to meet with your ELT, and you guys know your community best. But the one thing about it is don't shortchange yourself, because if you're going to have a gold of $1,500, just in case there's that one company you go to and you present them a sponsorship from presenting sponsor of $5,000, a platinum sponsor of $2,500, then a $1,500 of gold, then you've got that one above that they just might take. Make sure that you always have one above. And the other thing, you can customize your sponsorship. You can make the sponsorship if you're going to make a presentation and they say, you know, we really want people to see our name out in the public. We really want to be very noticeable with this event. Then you can customize that sponsorship as the needs of what that sponsor would need. So Andrea, I'm going to leave it to you for you to tell people about what's been very successful for you guys.
Okay, thank you. Can you hear me?
I can.
Okay, perfect. Because I'm driving back from a different Relay for Life meeting tonight that I'm helping with. But so as far as sponsorship goes, I'm currently volunteering with 2 different Relay for Life events. I'm the event chair of one, and then I'm volunteering to help another one kind of get back going after all of COVID and all of that. So we just had the conversation tonight of sponsorship and where we're going with it and how we're doing it. And we looked at some of the previous guidelines of sponsorship they used in the community. And when we were looking at it, you know, each community is different. You can't really use the same footprint at every event, every county. So we were looking at it and looking at where are businesses now? Are they struggling after COVID? Have they grown? And like Jane said, always you need to be realistic in your sponsorship ask. Like, I know that there's some areas near us that can go for, you know, have on their sponsorship levels a $10,000 sponsorship. In our area, in these 2 counties, a $10,000 sponsorship is no way possible. But you do want to have that one bracket up. You want to have that opportunity there. However, when you're looking at the sponsorship and looking at your layout, you also need to set aside the time of when you go out to approach these individuals. You want to be able to have the time to actually talk with them about the sponsorship levels, because again, you could have a business that's looking for something that may not be listed on your sponsorship paperwork, but it's something that you could actually work with. It might be something of advertising. Maybe they're new, or maybe they've been here and they've seen an advertising done somewhere in another state or something that they're thinking, wait, you know, is this a way that we can grow? So you always need to be a little flexible as far as how you want to provide your sponsorship. But you do want to have those levels, the monetary levels. And as Jane said, you want to have one above, just because, you know, that is your goal, because you can't assume that you always know the business standing of the money there.
That's good.
Does that make sense? And then also reaching out with your ELT. I mean, they're in the communities every day. Who knows those businesses best? Just really working together with them in the areas to where they are and understanding the sponsorship and being realistic with it.
All right. Well, thank you, Jane and Andrea. Next, we're going to go to Erica.
Actually, Heidi, we have some discussion questions because we'd love to hear how everybody else sets some of their levels and what kind of custom levels people have had success with in the past. So please feel free to come off of mute and share with us what you guys do in your communities. If you want to put it in the chat, you can put it in the chat and I will read things out of the chat too if anybody does not like to come off of mute.
Go ahead.
This is Donna Hood at Neosho. Can you hear me?
Mhm.
Yes.
Okay. Oh, well, you know, we haven't had an actual relay since 2018. 2019, we did do a Luminaria event, but I think we ended up with one corporate sponsor that year, which was a place of business that had always sponsored, and they reached out and wanted to sponsor. So we're going to be kind of, I almost feel like starting over a little bit this year with our levels and everything. But anyway, I'm anxious to hear what some of the other places are doing, since I felt like we lost out a couple of years.
Well, now would be a good time to kind of revamp your packet and make it something that'll work for your county. I actually have one that I can share. It's not one of my relays, but I know of quite a few relays that do this. They create a custom level that is just $100, and you get a sign-at relay with your company name on it. And I have had I do a lot of youth events. I have had some of my high schools in the past that will take that to their parents' businesses and just sell $100 track signs. And that is the bulk of their sponsorship. But for some businesses, especially smaller ones or ones that are still struggling because of COVID, that's what they can do. And it still is a way for them to give back to the relay and get their name out there a little bit without having to make that $1,000 commitment or $5,000 commitment. So I know that's one custom level that has had success at a lot of different relays in the past.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, and I think go ahead.
I also do the $100 track signs, and I deliver them to the businesses afterwards. And we've started putting the year on it. And so they need to renew their sponsorship each year.
Okay.
That's an excellent idea.
I love that idea. Yeah, I know a lot of local events here in Kentucky. We have typically done a lot of the $100 track sign sponsors, and they've been named various things, lane sponsor, just a friend of relay. And one of my events they're about an hour west of me, they did the Friends of Relay sponsor, and all of those sponsors, they all got the track signs that they could display in their businesses, and they could come and set up at the event if they wanted to. But they had a large Hope the word cut out of plywood. Like they took one piece of plywood for each letter of the word Hope, and they cut it out and they painted it, and they let each sponsor do various size like sticker logos that they could put on the Hope sign that was displayed each year. And even the $100 sponsors got to put a sticker on that Hope sign. So it was really cool.
And I remember hearing somewhere, and you guys tell me if I've said this wrong, but didn't someone tell us something about having a media sponsor, that for X amount of dollars, that if they became a media sponsor, they sent them a video, and with that, they would put that video on Facebook, and that would make them a media sponsor. Do you remember something about that, Kayla?
Yeah, I've had some of my colleges actually, they'll work with a club on campus, or like the campus radio station, or I'm gonna age myself real bad, the production club, that the TV or the campus TV, whatever, they will work with them and basically make an agreement for, if you guys will help us make some professional looking relay videos, we will consider you to be our media sponsor. So not only do they help advertise the event on whatever their media platform is, they help us get some really nice videos of what the event looked like, and that we can share on social media and stuff later.
Well, here's a great idea that we just had put in the chat. We have done business card sponsors.
Oh.
We take their business card and do a social media post for $25.
Ooh,
Wow.
That is a good one.
That's a good one. That's
I
one
really
to put down.
like that one. I really like that.
And then in Northern Nevada, we call $100 business donation a circle of friends, as we have a lot of rural areas in our communities. Great idea there. You guys keep the ideas coming, because that's the one thing that we're looking for.
And you know, talking about all of these ideas, there's a lot of people. I had several volunteers who couldn't be on here tonight, and of course we are recording this, and I do have a couple that are going to go back and look at this. So just being able to share what works in one community, it might not work in yours, but it might work in another one. So I think that's what we're here for, is to find those new and unique ideas on levels and see how we can share across the US.
We also have on here that let me go back, obtain the business logos and advertise them on our website, Facebook, Instagram, etc. Then for track signs, if a business supports a fundraiser event, like provides a location, always take the first $100 you earn in donations to buy a track sign for that business. They love it. I have a form for the business card sponsors I can share too. Please do put that in the chat. That would be great.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi, I'm Tanya. I am in Maricopa, Arizona, and we have revamped our event starting in 2021 because our community is one of the fastest cities growing in America, but yet our attendance declines every single year. And we've turned it more into a family festival to attract our community. And so this last year we had a fun zone. And so we had like kids games and stuff, and we found a website to order like carnival prizes for the games for really good pricing. And we had a sponsor then that sponsored our fun zone. So we had banners put up around the fun zone with the sponsors specifically for the fun zone. And then also let them set up their own booth by the fun zone so people could talk to them. And that's the first time we did that, was this year. And we set the price on the fun zone sponsorship to $250, which the sponsor we had this year was totally down with doing. And he has already told us at the end of our event in 2022 that he definitely wants to do it again. So his question was, what are you going to do with that banner with my logo on it? And we're like, hopefully you'll do it next year. And he said, I am definitely going to do it next year, because it was a great experience for him.
That is awesome. So you all, if you all want to keep sharing ideas about different levels that you have, we would greatly appreciate that.
All right, are we ready to move on then to benefits per level? It's going to be Janet and Sharon.
All right, can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm Janet Longera. I'm located in Reno, Nevada, and we cover quite a wide area, so we're considered Northern Nevada. And we've made up our packet last year, and we've left it the same this year, but we tried to come up with some unique ideas for our sponsors. So for the presenting sponsors, that's really more of a media. We want to get your name out, and we appreciate that that they want to sponsor us at the $5,000 level. And we do have several, actually. We fortunate we have mines in our area, so we have gold mining and places like that do sponsor us, which has been really nice. So for the presenting sponsor, it's more about media for them, and they actually can do a little interview opportunity if they want to do that. In our next one, the platinum level for $2,500, that is our we call creating the survivor and caregiver experience. So that is all about recognizing our survivors and our caregivers. They get social media recognition, thank you posts, their logo on the website, as most everybody does. And then they also, as well as the presenting sponsor, they have the right to use the ACS event logo on their website and social platforms with messaging relating to our partnership. Of course, we have the right to make sure that those are all done with the, with the right stuff. So, and we notice notice, recognize all of these at the end as well. Our next level, the 1500 gold level, is we use our big purple chair. We're fortunate to have one that is available to us at all times. We have it in storage. And if they want to, they can have the big chair available to take pictures on, to use it in their sponsorship pictures. And we've done that where they can all, have it in front of their business for just a little while we take pictures of them, and then they can post that anywhere that they want. So we like to do that. That's a real fun one. Obviously, if any of you have it, you know how heavy that chair is, but it's worth it. They really appreciate it and have fun with that. And all of them, of course, to get a thank you letter. On the silver level, the $1,000, we have a survivor spotlight and caregiver corner. So we asked them why, what's that deep felt motivation? And the why drives you to action and inspires you to create change. And then we have stories and photos from our Relay for Life community. So they get to pick which one that they want, either the survivor spotlight or caregiver corner, and that's recognized quite a bit. On our bronze level, that one's a fun one. So they can have, for the $500, either a Road to Recovery car or a pop-up luminaria. So hopefully most of you know what a Road to Recovery car is. Let's see if I can show you. They asked me if I can show. Let's see. That kind of show a little bit.
The form, Janet, let me stop you just a second. The form that she is reading from, we are going to share all of these resources at the end. So the form that she has, we will be sharing with her packet. That way you all can kind of see what her and her community have been doing.
Perfect. Thank you. I thought you were. But the Road to Recovery car, has anybody not heard of this? Well, actually, Reno hadn't heard of it till I came here. So,
well, I don't know that I've heard of it.
Okay. So a Road to Recovery car at the Relay, you make a car out of cardboard, and just cardboard. So you bring boxes, and you can bring tape, paint, stickers, whatever you want to put on your car. And if you do it as a function or as an event at your Relay, then all of the teams can make a card. This we're talking about is putting a sponsorship name on one of those cars, or more than one if we have more than one. And so you build your car for two people. You start off with one person in the car, and they have a start time. They go to the next stop, which is to pick up the patient, which is at the next stop. Their patient gets in the car, then they drive over and they go to the doctor. So they stop at the doctor. They get a drink of water and some Skittles, whatever, medication we have for them, right? And they have to drink and eat all of that before they can leave the doctor's office. Then they leave the doctor's office. Maybe they might stop and get the car washed or just take the patient home. And so they drop off the patient and go back home to the starting line. And that is a Road to Recovery car. It is a blast. It's a lot of fun. And if you put your sponsor's name on there, then it gets shown. On there and to everybody that's participating and watching. And it's a blast to watch. A lot of fun. The other one is a pop-up luminaria. So pop-up luminaria will go to a business, or if they want to set up, have us set up somewhere else, then we can say that our pop-up luminaria is sponsored by that company. And we just start a luminaria, start popping up luminarias all around that area. And hopefully people come by and buy bags themselves and just either drive through, walk through, whatever is allowed at the time. Of course, with COVID, we were doing a lot of drive-through luminarias. So So that sponsor can pick whichever one they want. I'm hoping to get the Road to Recovery car started here anytime now. I got to convince my folks that it's a fun idea. It really is. I mean, just cardboard. I mean, you know, it's a lot of fun. Our last one, and then I'll allow for questions. Our last one is the signature level, $250. What we do for that one is we have team captain bags, and we let them know our team captains work very hard to raise money. And so on those bags, last year we printed out all of the sponsors at that level and actually above, as long as they met the 250 level. We made stickers, and I actually ended up putting them all on one sticker sheet, so a full 8.5 by 11 sheet, and you know, printing those on each sheet, and then we pasted it to one side of the Relay for Life bag that the team captain got to keep. So that was a big hit as well. And we started with individual stickers, but then we got too many that we actually needed to put them just all on one page and put it on the bag itself. They weren't all fitting on the bag otherwise. So that's kind of what we've come up with. So now that I've gone on, any questions?
These, as you can see, the ideas, those are some fabulous ideas, Janet. And like I said, we are going to share some of what she talked about. We have that ready to share at the end in the resources section. And you know, the ideas are just absolutely limitless when it comes to benefits for your sponsors. You know, PSA, social media. Of course, that's one of the big things that I know that we have right now. Seems like every time you turn around, there's something new coming out with social media. And if you're like me and you can't keep up, find you a teenager, which I've got 2 of those in the house, and they're always welcome to help me try to figure out something when it comes to that. Digital frames that you can put company logos on, sponsors on, a smile stop around the track, company teams. I know a lot of teams work together that you know, individuals they set up, they not only sponsor, but they do a team as well. And it's a great way to get the teams involved and, you know, raise a little bit more money and then more than their sponsorship. Promo items, you allow sponsors to donate branded materials for the Survivor goodie bags, temporary emuncies that you have that you can do as sponsors for representatives to help with the ceremonies, live streaming, sponsor spotlight. You know, that's probably one of my favorites because it gives a chance for the sponsors to, whether it be on social media, in the newspaper. I know here locally, what we used to do is we have a really good media sponsorship with our local newspaper. I personally am friends with the local newspaper here, the people who run it and own it, and it's a great newspaper. It is actually one of the longest standing newspapers still in Kentucky, still 12 to 14 pages every week. Even through COVID, they managed to keep it up. But we always do, when it comes to around relay time, is to do sponsor spotlights, you know, for those top level sponsors. We highlight them, we show what they're doing. If they've got a company team or a business team, we take pictures. If they've done fundraisers, we kind of talk about them. And then of course, t-shirts. Offer sponsor opportunities for t-shirts. Now I know that is something that we have kind of got away from in the past, but you know, individually, there might be a way that you can work around things and do things that are, you know, a fit for your community. If that is something that they really want. So those are just a few ideas. Are there any other ideas on benefits that your community might have that you think is definitely, you know, something unique, fun, that's been well received, that you've enjoyed, that your community's enjoyed? You can pop it in the chat or you can come off mute.
I can pop the chat.
I'd like to just share something that I've done with relays in the past. We print they're really easy to do. You can buy the forms and you print business cards. They're little business card size. And they basically say, thank you for being a sponsor of the Relay for Life. Of course, you say like your Relay for Life. And then when you go to that business, when you're paying, say it's at a restaurant or at a coffee shop or the grocery store, whatever, you leave that business card as you're paying. And you will be amazed how much the businesses appreciate that simple little gesture of a thank you, a little written thank you on a little business card. It doesn't have to be fancy. And it really keeps the sponsors coming back.
That is a super cool idea. I've never heard of that and I like it. I really like it.
It's easy to do. It's inexpensive. And you just all the ELT members just kind of keep them in your wallet or your purse or whatever. And every time you go to a business like that, that's a sponsor, you give them that card.
Jamie put in the chat that they also offer to do a large check presentation at the event to give them a chance to explain why they are supporting and do a photo op on stage. And ACS actually has the ability to order some of those big checks for very inexpensive to use to do those presentations if that's something you want to do with your sponsor. I like that one a lot. That one's a good one for a lot of different reasons. And
okay, I have a question. My screen is blank. Is this me? Did I do that or are you guys on a blank screen?
I'm not on a blank screen. Can everyone else see the discussion slide?
Yep, I'm on it.
Okay, Donna, maybe. I don't know. I don't know why it went away.
That's all right. I can hear you. So
okay,
I'll try to figure out what I did.
You're fine. Sophia, to answer your question, when we talked about repaying the sponsors in half the amount that they donated, that's just for in-kind. So like if you get an in-kind donate or a sponsor to donate something that the fair market value is $1,000, the best practice, and again, it's a best practice, not written in stone, is to recognize them at your $500 sponsorship level. Is that pretty accurate, Gina?
Yes, totally. You got it. You nailed it right on the head. Yes. It is only for in-kind, donating goods or service. And definitely, if it's a strong partner in the community, you definitely want to talk to your staff partner about a, conversation, have a conversation with that too. But yes, for in-kind.
Yep. In-kind, best practice is to recognize for half of what they donate. Donna also put in the chat, they print certificates of appreciation with the sponsor logo and present them at the relay event by calling them to the stage, which is a great opportunity too, because then your sponsors are actually coming to the event. So if they don't have a team, they're getting to come out and experience relay. I love that.
Okay.
I have an event that they do, and around here in Kentucky, I know a lot of places that you go, you're seeing in these small towns that they're putting up like these pole banners. I know through COVID, a lot of them did it for the seniors who didn't get to graduate. They did those pole banners. Here we do veterans. Like, of course, you have your Christmas thing and you have your fall. We have a big fall festival and we have banners for that, but we also have veterans. But I have one event that offers, they have multiple different ones that you can do. You can buy a luminaria, and like your luminaria is actually put on a pole flag, but you can also be a sponsor. And that is one of your benefits, is to sponsor your logo, custom branded pole flag with the Relay for Life logo as well goes with your logo goes on, and it's up during the month. I think it's like 3 weeks before the event and then like a week after. Now, of course, it's a big undertaking working with the city to get them to put up and take them down and stuff like that. But that is one of the ways that they've found them. They're pretty inexpensive to make. And it's just kind of getting the city to donate their time as well. And then they also, once the city donates their time, they become a sponsor, an in-kind sponsor for donating their time. So that's just another way that you can, a kind of a cool benefit that I have. One of my events, they're from Indiana that do that. So I think, Heidi, we are ready to move on.
All right. This has been good so far. I'm learning a lot. Now we're going to actually talk about making the ask, which is what a lot of people struggle with. So we're looking for Rebecca and Ginger to ease our fears.
Yes. So Ginger is going to share a story, a personal ask that she had made. And to give a little, I guess, backstory of it, Ginger and I volunteer on the same relay here in Texas. And she came to me and asked if I had a sponsor packet to give her because she wanted to make a personal ask to a very prominent businessman in our community. And I was like, absolutely. However, I don't want to dampen your spirit. I've sent him sponsor packets for 10 plus years, never got a response in the past several years. I don't want that to dampen your, please go ahead, but, don't be surprised if you don't hear anything. And so I was very excited when Ginger did not let that dampen her spirit, because she is here to tell you how she made the ask.
Good evening, everyone. I'm taking notes fast and furious to help my own local relay, but tonight I do want to share just a little bit with you. I got involved in relay probably, let's see, in 1999 when I was first diagnosed with breast cancer. So been involved since that point. But for several years, I just went to the Survivor Lab, and that was awesome, and I loved it. But that was about all I did, other than I had a Reach to Recovery volunteer. And when she came to me, she developed a relationship with me. And I went to that very first relay because of our relationship. And she asked me to help register survivors. Well, I was pretty clueless that first time because I had no idea what I was getting myself into, but made that first lap as a survivor and was blown away by the cheers of people who didn't know me, who had no idea what I had been through, but they were rejoicing for survival. And so I knew I was going to continue somehow in relay. Went through a few years where I just attended as a survivor. And then a little girl on my school campus as a kindergartner was diagnosed with neuroblastoma. And we had developed a school-wide team for her. And I already had a relationship with that family, and I joined the team, and it became very quickly a #1 fundraising team because we were very excited to support this little girl who we all grew to love dearly. That actually began my own personal fundraising, and my way to reach out was to people that I already had a relationship with, but I had to find a unique way to do that. And I read through some ideas that I'd received from the American Cancer Society, and I chose to write letters, but mine were from the point of view of my dog. And my dog every year told my story, talked about what we'd done at Relay, described the event, and it became something that people looked forward to each year. So that was personally very successful for me. So letter writing was already kind of in my nature, I guess. I had tried mailing the documentation for sponsors a little bit, but I couldn't, and I had some success with that. I had some success with that, but not a lot. But over the past couple of years, I walk 4 days a week and for exercise, and that's also my prayer time. And so as I was walking, about 1 mile from my house lives this wealthy gentleman that Rebecca mentioned, and I walked past the gate, the guarded gate that he lives behind. And every time I walked past, I thought, he's never had anything to do with Relay. I've never seen his name anywhere. And I kept thinking, wonder why? Well, I don't know why he chose not to respond in years past, but I decided that this year was the year. So in the fall, as she said, I was going to do this. I said, I'm just going to do it, and nothing's lost if he doesn't respond. So I knew a little bit about him, but not very much. And I just went online and Googled him and found out very quickly that he was a survivor. But he had been diagnosed with melanoma very young in his life and had gone on to fund a melanoma center in Florida. Oh, wow. So he had invested in cancer research, but never locally. So I decided to write a letter, and about 2 weeks later, I had left town, came home, got my mail, and there was a letter from his company, and I thought, oh, it's probably just another kind way to say no. But I opened it thinking, well, maybe we got a couple $100, and that would be great. I would be thrilled. And I opened that up, and there was a letter from the individual that handles some of his business, and she thanked me for my letter and from him. And then I pulled out this check that had been mailed to me, not to the address on the form that they had filled out, and it was for $5,000. I was blown away. No clue that he would ever do that. But I think the thing that made the difference is that I had to have a relationship. So because I knew he had cancer, and also I knew that he had funded research, and I knew that he lived in my neighborhood. So I built on that and wrote my letter, and I'll read that real quick because I believe in keeping them short and sweet, and presenting it as an opportunity, made an invitation to him. I will leave out his name. It began, walking the neighborhood near your home on Copperfield Drive is always a delight. Watching the landscape change through the seasons, the colors and the sounds of the waterfalls on the golf course. Thank you for sharing all this with our neighborhood community. As a 23-year, two-time cancer survivor, I have been involved in a variety of opportunities, sharing my own story of survival, encouraging others to access recommended screenings, mentoring newly diagnosed breast cancer patients, and raising funds in the through reading a bio about you. I learned that cancer touched your life at a young age, and later you funded and it has his name on it, Comprehensive Melanoma Research Center at the Moffitt Cancer Center in Tampa, Florida. Thank you. Thank you for investing in the future of others. Someday a cure will be discovered and no one else will have to hear those words, "You have cancer." So in order to make the ask, this is what I said. This letter is an invitation to ask you to consider supporting Relay for Life of the Brazos Valley through a donation or sponsorship. The upcoming event will be held on Saturday, April 15th, 2023. There we will celebrate survivors, remember those we have lost, and fight back through the fundraising for patient services, education, and research. As you consider this opportunity, if you should have questions or need further information, please feel free to contact me. Your support would be greatly appreciated. Sincerely, Ginger Freeze, cancer survivor. And I left my personal phone number and email, and the rest is history.
Yay! And I was so shocked when Ginger called me and said, hey, I was shocked that she had gotten a response because I could never even get a response. And then she was like, well, there was a check in there. And I'm like, oh, okay. And then she was like, you'll never guess how much it is. And I was like, you're right, because I didn't even think you would get a check. Mm-hmm. And she told me $5,000. I mean, I just about laid out on the floor. Like, I was shocked, but it just really goes to show, and we hear all the time, like, oh, it's, not what you know, but who you know, and, who makes the ask and stuff. And so it just goes to show how important it was to be very specific but give, she made that relationship with him because she had learned a little bit about him and said, I know this is a cause that you're tied to because you're a survivor, and you have funded a cancer center. So this is right up your alley. So yeah, well, it's fabulous.
Well, at this point, as I always do with anyone who donates to me personally, after Relay, they all get a thank you note, usually with pictures, and showing them how much we earned, what we did as a team and as an event. And yes, he will be getting the very same thing. So he will get his thank you.
That is absolutely amazing. You know, and it's one of those things when you hear stories like that, it makes all the frustrations of maybe me trying to get a certain sponsor or someone to become involved and, you know, and donate. It's when someone else is like, well, hey, I know them, or we go to church together, or our girls dance together, it kind of makes it all worthwhile. So what we kind of want to open the floor, you know, now for, you know, what do you all find effective to making the ask, and what are some of the things that you all include in your pitch? You know, what are, you know, like Ginger, she kind of made it personal, you know, talking about that and kind of tying it all back in. But what are some other things that you all have done that has really been successful in your area?
Well, I go in and I relate my own personal experiences, and I always talk about the 800 number and people that I know that have used it and how they've used it and how successful it's been. And I pick a section of town and I walk every business in that area, and I go in and make the ask in person with the sponsorship packet. And last year, personally, between that and silent auctions, I raised over $24,000.
Wow, that's amazing.
But I hit every section of Greenville and surrounding areas as well. Thank goodness I retired from teaching 3 years ago.
That's amazing. Wow.
Is there anyone else that's got anything unique that they have done that when they're making their pitch?
I wouldn't say that I don't have anything unique specifically that I do when I make a pitch, but what we started doing this last year at our relay, instead of having somebody specifically in charge of doing sponsorship, is that we just told all of our event leadership team, use the connections that you have in the community and talk to the people you personally know to make the connection. And if you think that there's a company that would be good to talk to and you don't have the connection, ask if any of us do, if we didn't think of them. And we created a Google spreadsheet that we just kind of for us to track the business name, the person who we talked to, and like who was talking to them, so that we wouldn't make accidentally that I talked to somebody and then somebody else reaches out to them as well. So that we make sure it was just one person focusing on them to make the best connection. And this last year, it finally actually helped, and we started getting some businesses in town to start being sponsors again.
Oh, that's a great idea. And yeah, that's, you know, I'm hearing more and more as the time goes on, since I've come to the UES team and being remote, that there's not just one specific person who's dedicated as a sponsorship chair making those asks. It really is. It really does. You know, they say it takes a village to raise a child, and that is so very true. It takes a village to do sponsorship. Because you never know, like, you know, who's going to have those connections and who's going to have the, you know, just maybe like, you know, people have mentioned, you know, I go to church with this person, or I work with somebody who goes there, or, oh my gosh, that's my uncle. You just never know what kind of connections that you're going to have to be able to go in and make those asks in, you know, in your community.
Jamie, I'm actually going to tag and share an idea one of our teammates who's not on the call tonight had. Just people that you already have connections to. He always wanted to try it. I don't know whether he ever got to. Have everybody at the committee meeting pull out their purse, their wallet, their backpack, briefcase, like whatever they have with them, and find every business card that they had on their person, people that they had been close enough at some point to get a business card, and then see whether they could make a sponsor ask that person or a team ask or something, but like working those connections just off those business cards that people pick up in their everyday life. But I like that idea, Jamie. That is a good one to get everybody to work their own connections.
Thank you.
I was going to say that I always ask my committee members to reach out to their family and friends and businesses that they use, because if you already have a relationship with them, I think that, that's helpful. But I also was going to say, I usually reach out to like local dignitaries. And we've gotten some support from like senators and congressmen. We also reach out to like the city council, the school board, the Chamber of Commerce, because those are the people who in the community usually do want to advertise and do different things. And what I do is I look at like other programs, I mean like paper programs that I've gotten, like maybe at a parade or at an event, or look in the chamber newspaper, and I see, well, who are the people who usually donate? And I see, well, who advertised here? And then I reach out and I contact those people. So but that's kind of a good resource, is to look at some other programs, because we always do an event program. And that's one of the benefits that our sponsors get. But I look at other people's programs to get ideas of who usually advertises in them.
Oh, these are such awesome ideas, guys. We need to definitely keep sharing.
Yeah, Amanda, we've got a question in the chat that I saw. Trisha, first you're planning your event. We have some template sponsorship packets. We've got one from like National ACS that you can use, but a template. Nothing is written in stone. And then I'm sure between everybody on this call, we've got a bunch of other different kinds. So maybe just check with your staff partner to get some examples of different packets, and then just pick one that you think, or pick parts out of the ones that you see to put your packet together and go from there. Pick what works for your community. Have I missed questions in the chat? Sorry, I'm trying to track everything.
I was just going to say that on my form, what's it called? The Relay for Life sponsorship and in-kind form. I have right on there, like what the benefits are. So it says sponsors will be featured in our event program, invited to relay for recognition at opening ceremony, presented with a certificate or plaque to display in their business, advertised on track signs placed around the relay track, and featured on a banner displayed on the stage at the relay. And I think that if you're telling them like what the benefits are, a business cares about that kind of stuff. And I'm telling them up front what they're going to get, and they get all those things. And I mean, I don't know if that's, maybe they have another reason for being a sponsor, but I like to just tell them what the benefits are up front.
I think that's a great idea. And I think the thing about it is that when you go, you need to be prepared. You were prepared with what benefits that you could give to them. The other thing is, I never put anything into my sponsorship packet that I cannot give to them. If I cannot give it, I pull that out. You have to make sure that you can do everything you said you was going to do. And the other thing is just to let you know is, just as Ginger was talking about and Rebecca, I was supposed to go to a sponsorship meeting. I thought it had been rescheduled, I don't know how many times. And I thought, oh, well, it's next week. And then I looked and I went, it's today. I've got to go. So I jumped in the shower, ran out the door, and I grabbed the packet that I had made that week for another meeting, ran out the door, was sitting with these three ladies, and they said, we want to be the presenting sponsor. And I went, and I was looking like, yeah, I don't think you can okay that. I'm just saying. But they looked at me and they said, I didn't say that to them, but I was just thinking it. And they said, yeah, we need to get in touch with Justin. And I thought, well, wait a minute. By the time I left that meeting, I had a $15,000 presenting sponsorship. So always be prepared for whatever that, because you do not ever know if the person you're sitting with, they might not be the person that makes the decisions, but they could be the person who could get in touch with that one and say, hey, you can use my budget. Let's do it. And I'm like, yes. So just that's the great thing, is just what you were talking about. Just always be prepared.
The other thing I like to take with me when I, face-to-face do solicitation is I have like our event flyer. And on the event flyer, it tells about like team fundraisers that are happening, about our Survivor event, how to purchase a luminaria, and how to register, and our website. And then it also says how to become an event sponsor. So it kind of shows them, wow, this Relay for Life group is very active, doing lots of things. Lots of people are involved, and then, maybe they want to be a part of it.
All right, this is great conversation. I think we have one more section before we wrap it up. Heidi, do you want to take it away?
Sure. This will be follow-up and stewardship, and a lot of this we have been sort of covering off and on in different areas, but Kayla and Janet are gonna give us some great ideas.
Do I talk first, Kayla?
Sorry, I'm on mute and I'm trying to answer the chat, and everything's everywhere tonight. I don't have enough arms. Yes, Janet, if you want to go ahead and take it away on how Temple City, how you do such an awesome job with sponsors, please.
Well, I've been chiming in a lot already, but I think a lot of it, like, I need to go back, because I think it's really important when you reach out to your past sponsors that they really understand how much you appreciate their support. If you want them to come back, you have to kind of, build that relationship. And so I always like, in my letter, I give them a personal letter, which says, like, we were honored to have so-and-so as a silver sponsor last year, and we appreciate your donation of what to our relay. Then I tell them how much money we raised, and then how we've advertised and promoted them throughout the year. Because I think you want to have like an ongoing relationship with them to have them come back. And, the ask is like so important. If you go to a business with a letter and a form in hand, and talking to them is best in person. And so, like other people had said, I do that every year. I go to several businesses in person. A lot I have to mail because they're not exactly close to my community, but I do go in person. And lots of them, they write the check on the spot. It may just be for a business card, but they just say, do you want me to write the check right now? And so it's really great to have built that relationship. And then if I haven't heard back from them, and I do have email and information like that, I'll send them an email to check in and see if they need more information. And then sometimes it's because, like, after COVID, some businesses, we didn't even ask for donations the first year in 2020. And then we're just kind of trying to feel our way to see how businesses are doing before we're asking for them to donate. And I ask them, do they have any questions about sponsorship? So I try to be a resource for them. And sometimes when you drop off the paperwork, you may be dropping it off to not the person who actually makes the decision. So I go back to follow up. I'm diligent about going back 2 or 3 times, whatever it takes, to make sure that the right person got the information. And sometimes they didn't. And so I'll take another copy with me to make sure they have it, or they put it on someone's desk and the person who's in charge will say, oh, I did see that, but I don't know where it is. Well, I happen to have another copy. I talk to them because I want them to come back, back every year. And I also just try to sell the benefits of sponsorship. We have a beautiful event program. And I don't know if every relay does an event program, but it's full of information. It has the schedule of events, the map, the teams, the fundraisers, and then sponsors at a higher level, the gold and presenting sponsors, we allow them to put like a page in the program. And of course, we do business card sponsors. We had like 22 business card sponsors this year, and their business card is printed right in the program. Plus in our program, we have ACS information. I also put the sponsors on track signs. So every gold, silver, bronze sponsor has their own track sign. And then I enlarge business cards and have several business cards on one track sign. So if that sponsor comes, they're going to see, wow, people walking around the track are going to see my business card or my, that I'm a sponsor. In the program, they're going to see the sponsor. And at opening ceremonies, they're invited. They're given an invitation and invited to come. I provide reserved seating for them, and we acknowledge them on the stage with a plaque. And ACS has beautiful plaques that you can order from them. We have a photographer that comes and he takes pictures. He's wonderful. He videos the entire event. And I always make sure that everyone knows his website because they can see his, 2,000 pictures and videos that he makes. And so after the event, I always go back to the businesses, either in person or I sent them a handwritten letter telling them like how much money we raised, how many teams were involved, how many survivors were there. And then if they weren't there, I bring them an event program and the plaque. And I always make sure that they know about this website so that they can see photos of the event and even see a video of all the ceremonies and everything that happened. That's it.
Thank you, Janet, for sharing all of that. Temple City is in California. They are a November event. So she just got done with Relay and wrapping up all of this stuff. But one thing I really wanted to hit on, because I know we have buzzwords. We have ACS buzzwords, and stewardship is one of them. And it's basically just a fancy way to say making sure that you're taking care of your sponsors beyond getting the check. And I did want to talk a little bit about this number 2, proof of performance. This may not be something that everybody thinks to do, but for some of your bigger sponsors, it is a nice thing to do if they don't have a team at the event, taking a picture of the track sign at the event so they can see that it was there. Take a screen grab of their recognition on social media and just kind of package those things together to put together a really nice thank you for them at the end of the year with how much money Relay raised, how many people were at the event, how their contributions have made a difference. Here's some of the things. Here's like the promotion that we did for you and stuff like that. ACS has templates that to help you like put together these to look really nice, but they don't even have to be that fancy. You can just do a letter like Janet does, take the program that has their recognition in it and everything and just deliver it to them after Relay with a nice thank you, because that's what it takes to build that relationship, to make it easier on yourself the next year to get those sponsors to keep coming back and wanting to donate, because you always want them to have that warm, fuzzy feeling along with the tax write-off for writing their check. So.
And I do take pictures of the track signs and give those to them also.
All right, so our discussion for this one is, what kind of special ways does everybody thank their sponsors for supporting Relay?
Well, I'm not sure that it's probably not as special as it needs to be, but we do send each of them a thank you note.
Handwritten?
Yes, handwritten. But I
that
can
is special.
see,
most people don't handwrite notes anymore.
Yeah, but I do see now a lot more things that we can sure add to it. To make them, like, well, I know it's a handwritten, but look, they sent us pictures or they showed us where our information was at the event.
Delma put in the chat, how about delivering the sponsor track sign with a thank you after the event? Then they can display the track sign at their event or at their company year round too. That's a good one. I like that a lot.
I have an event that takes window clings. They put a window cling that they can put in their business. Of course, a lot of these places are on streets, might not have a place to put put their track sign in, but they can stick it on their door. If they've got a drive-through window, they can put it on their drive-through window that they are a proud supporter of Relay for Life. So that's one of the things that they like to do with a thank you card. And they also encourage the survivors to write the thank you cards. And they will bring the thank you cards to the survivor dinner, and they will ask them to just write a thank you card, and then they will go ahead and include that with it.
I love that because that pulls your survivors into it too. Our call next month is on survivors and caregivers. We might have to hang on to that one, Amanda, and share it again.
Hey, we can.
What else do people do?
Has anyone ever had any luck of getting all of your sponsors together for a picture for the paper? And if so, how did you do it?
We just take a picture of all the sponsors when we give them the plaques at our opening ceremony, but not every sponsor is able to come, but we do take pictures of whoever is there.
Do you make a personal ask for them to join you at the event and tell them what time or what?
I do.
How do you get them there?
I send them an invitation, and I also tell them to RSVP so that I can have reserved seating and reserved parking if they need that.
Does anybody have like a VIP situation where they do something special for the sponsors that if they show up to the event?
I have VIP for survivors, but not for sponsors. And I guess they're just as important.
I have tried to find the window clings. We used to be able to get them from ACS, but I think with the logo change and stuff, they're not available anymore. But we have found a vendor who has yet to not be able to print something we've requested from them. So if you would like to do window clings, if you have a design that you can make up, we can price it out and see about getting those for people who want to use them to recognize, oh, okay, Jess is IMing me that she has a vendor that'll do them for around $1 each. You can't get much cheaper than that. Jess, would you send me the link to the template and we'll put that in with the resources from tonight. Sarah Lynn says that they've had less luck asking sponsors to hold and cut the ribbon to start the Survivor Lab. Oh, that's a good idea. I like that one. I'm reading in the chat, sorry. And of course, for like certificates and things to present on stage or after relay and stuff, ACS has tons of templates. Your staff partner can help you find them. So you don't have to start from scratch if you don't like doing that kind of design stuff too.
Another thing, and I guess this would kind of fall in the thanking the survivors.
Sponsors.
Yeah. Okay, I was going to a sponsor thing or a survivor thing. Yeah, okay, so confused. It's been a long day. So I have an event that when they do their survivor dinner, they personally invite the sponsor and a guest, so they can bring up to 2 people to the survivor dinner, and they get recognized at that too, because most of my events do a survivor dinner prior to the event, whether it be a week, 2 weeks before, that just to kind of keep like the chaos down from the actual day of the event. But they will actually encourage sponsors to come and they will introduce them there, and that way the sponsors and survivors can mix and mingle.
I like that. That's a good idea.
And can I go back to where we were talking about the levels? Does anybody have, I know we've done like presenting, platinum, gold, silver, bronze, signature, track sign. Does anybody have like sponsorship levels like the survivor sponsorship? They would be the survivor's sponsor or something like that, a stage sponsor, or does anybody do anything like that?
We haven't done that before, but we have been talking about doing something like that this year, if we can. I haven't asked Amanda yet, but like for an area for the survivors at our event, if we want to add something to that, we've kind of thought about doing that. And well, I guess the last time we got to have a big event, we did ask 3 different companies, and they were like sponsors for this large tent that we had where our survivors and stuff could sit, and we called, we made it be known to the survivors who had sponsored that tent for them.
Yeah, we've done something. I've got an event that does something very similar to that. They actually go out and make a specific ask for a survivor dinner sponsor, and they try to get about $3,000. That way they can, do goodie bags and the food and like venue location and all that, and still raise a little money with it too.
Sarah Lynn, are you in a place where you could come off mute and tell everybody about how you guys tie your sponsor levels to mission components?
Sure. Hi, everybody.
Thank you.
So like last year, a $500 sponsorship was a patient care sponsorship level. And so like when you were thanking your sponsor and letting them know what they did, it's what $500 can do in the mission of the American Cancer Society. And yeah, like we've had a survivor sponsor, we've had that kind of things, but I've had luck tying it to the mission that way.
I love that. If anybody wants to try that, we have updated numbers and stuff on like the tangible giving part of it. Like what would $1,000 sponsorship potentially support? So talk to your staff partner if anybody wants to try that. That would be awesome. Does anybody? Nope, go ahead, Amanda.
Sorry, we've got about 10 minutes left. Is there anything that anybody just wants to share? We're going to have a ton of resources on Relay Connect that we are going to be able to, you all go access, find, find anything that your little heart desires. And if it's not there, we are going to ask us, we will find it. We have the Event Lead Guidebook that you all can look up for different resources. There is going to be a landing page for these Let's Talk call series. Of course, I know this one was, of course, sponsorship. Next one is survivors. And then what's the third one?
Recognition and stewardship for like big teams and stuff like that. Your top.
So we're going to have a landing page that we will make sure that everybody has a link to, that they can go and they can check. There are a couple of resources. Like I said, we do have Janet's resources on her benefits that is on here that we are going to share. And we did have another volunteer who couldn't make it on tonight, and she was going to share her sponsorship journey that she has taken that's working really well for her. Helped her make almost $20,000 last year?
Just shy of 20,000. Yeah. Sharon, do you want to talk about Margaret real quick?
Well, Margaret, real quick, she's very aggressive. This lady, when I first took over this event as a remote staff, she gets out in the community and she knocks on every door. But most importantly, I want to say, and I want to be brief, is everybody talked about really good things. But one thing about her is that she puts together a plan before she even goes out. And I think the old saying is, if you plan to fail, you fail. It's like you make a plan, you're gonna plan to fail. So basically what she does is she puts a plan. She starts thinking about who are my community, and you want to make sure your relays represent your community. So that's where you can start saying, who do we need to talk to that we have never come to our events before? And so that's where you can start with a plan. After you build your plan, as she does, then she sits down and says, do I know someone that works there? Or who do I know that may know somebody who works at that business? And then she goes through through that dialogue and with all the other volunteers that are with her group. So I just want to say everybody has some good ideas tonight. Stewardship, there's another thing that we've added the last couple of years, is that we put together a stewardship report. And that I would say, take lots of pictures of your event. Take down notes and statistics of what's going on with your event, because you're going to want to let your sponsors know just what happened, because a lot of times sponsors don't come back because we don't recognize them. You know, some of them may not want the plaque. Some of them, you just got to find, when you have conversations with them, ask them that question. How would you like to be recognized? Because they'll tell you exactly. They may not want that plaque, or they may not want whatever the certificate, but they may want media, like media recognition, social media recognition too. So that was some of the things that we've instituted with her event this past couple of years, because she has a lot of hospitals. And then she deals with some of our hospital staff internally. So a lot of them, they want to know just, you know, what did you do? You know, how did you use that money? So just be very mindful. And that's some of the things that Missy does for the Yamhill, Oregon event.
Thank you, Sharon. I will say ignore resource number 5 on this slide. I apparently forgot to delete off the placeholder of it. So it's just
at least
gibberish.
you know we read them.
I know, I appreciate y'all reading them. It's just a placeholder. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Sharon made a very good point, and this is something that I wanted to share. So find out when she said find out what your sponsors want. So I will never forget, and this is when I was in the field, and this really, really stuck with me, because I had, you know, I started back with ACS in 2015, and like everybody around here, like everybody gets a plaque. If you're a sponsor, you get a 4x6 plaque if you're at this level, and if you're at this level, it's a 5x7, and then so on and so forth. Well, I went into this one business, and we got to talking about ordering plaques. And this one bank had been an avid sponsor for multiple years. They were still sponsoring. They were a team. That's where we had our committee meetings in their conference room, and so on and so forth. Well, I said, one of the other committee members said, we need to get the plaques ordered. And a committee member who worked at the bank and was the bank team captain and was the one who helped secure their sponsorship, she said, can we please, like, look, she's like, when you order plaques, she's like, we don't want them. And she took me to a closet off of the conference room, and there they were, just stacked up in the closet, not displayed, nothing. She's like, for us, this is not what we want. And I was like, all right, what would you want? What would you like to have? And she was like, a track sign or a sign we can display outside, in front, or at the drive-through, or one of those window clings. She said, we would be more apt to use that than a plaque that we put in here in an office, because their bank had like some rules that they couldn't display certain things. Like it had to be certain decor that was only displayed like in the main lobby where people would see it. So it made sense. And from that moment on, plaques were like done. I was like, good, I can save all kinds of money and buy something else for y'all. So as Sharon said, get to know what your sponsors want, because some of them may not want anything and just may want a simple thank you card, and they be so excited with it. And some of them may want their name in big bold letters on a marquee sign somewhere. So you just got to figure out what they want.
Sounds great, Amanda. I love that. And I love all the ideas tonight. And a lot of it leads back to relationship building. It's, you know, not being afraid to go in and visit and talk and share what ACS has to offer and how maybe you can partner together with the mission. And remember, if you're having struggles, reach out to your staff partner or reach out to Selena and I. We're UES, your co-leads, and we're building our committee out. So we'll have other volunteers, but make sure your staff partner is an awesome resource for you. So start there, and then if we need to move out, we'll put you in touch with someone else. But mostly keep sharing these ideas and share them on our Facebook group. If you're not in our group, please let us know and we'll make sure we get you in there. So, oh, somebody says their staff partner is the best. I love that. So is mine. So is mine. So thank you all for your time tonight. And is there anything else, Amanda?
I think we're good. Kayla, are you everything? I think most of us have worked long hours. I feel like we have tried to get back into the swing of things, and we're getting there. We're getting there.
Yes, the recording of this call, all the resources, the stuff that we've added to the chat. Thank you, everybody who has put something to share in the chat. It is going to take me a few days to get everything pulled together, but if you were on this call and you had RSVP'd for it, you'll be getting a follow-up email. If you had not RSVP'd, go ahead and throw your email in the chat for me if you don't mind, so I can make sure that you get it. But we will get everything pulled together so you all can have everything from this call, and we hope it was helpful tonight and you all go out and have fabulous sponsorship campaigns this year. Have a good night, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you.